Hey everybody, welcome to the episode 22. My name is Phil. That is Chris.
I can say my own name.
No.
Come on, Phil.
Fine.
Just because you played Destiny once, now you think you have all the control. So
now I can take over Destiny Corner.
Yeah, that was a good segue because Phil finally played Destiny.
But yeah, I played Destiny. I give my input.
Yep. So we get a Phil run Destiny Corner at the top of the episode.
Yep. Hopefully it's interesting. Maybe you've heard a lot about Destiny. Maybe not. Anyway, After that, then we institute our 3-game plan from our New Year's resolution of trying to play games on the air and make it fun.
So yeah, we play a couple of games within the episode. So that involves trivia, that involves reading the back covers of games, trying to guess what they are, and the new game, which I'm just going to give you the name right now. You can figure out what it is if you listen to the episode. 3-word pitch.
Yep.
3-word pitch.
We won't tell you what it is.
Nope.
So at the end of the episode, feel free to tweet us, blah, 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 talk to us, let us know how the game episode is, if you like the games, if you don't like the games, if you want more of one, less of the other.
Yeah.
You know the drill.
So yeah, and this is the episode where we kind of work out all the kinks. So this is our first attempt at these games, so there's probably going to be some changes over the time.
Yep.
Over time as we play them, but hopefully they're fun.
Yeah. Enjoy the episode.
Enjoy the episode, guys. So we just finished playing Destiny.
Yes.
So I want to get a Phil run Destiny corner going on right now.
Okay. Well then let me start the way you always start. Ask questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So here's how I'll start. Played Destiny first time. Obviously, I had before going into Destiny, a lot of hate in my system.
Yeah.
Because it's just not my type of game on paper. Started it out. You got your 3 classes. Well, I don't know how I'm going to start this. Broad strokes.
It's not so easy now, is it?
Broad strokes.
Destiny corner's hard.
Yeah. The game looks gorgeous. Part of that is probably... Obviously, I'd have to see it on the 360 to see if it's the console or if it's the game. Obviously, there's limitations on the 360, so even if it's the game, it won't look that good.
Yeah.
But you can usually tell. So it looks amazing. World's super detailed. The characters are super detailed. There's a customization aspect, which every game has now. It's not that robust in terms of customization, in terms of how they look, but that's mostly because everything's going to be covered up with armor anyway.
Oh, you mean the full body? Like you just
like
did a face.
When you start a game, you do a face. It's just like you have 10 head shapes, 10 hairs, 10 tattoos, and it's just pick your colors.
Yeah.
Which is fine because
you end up not seeing their face that often.
Yeah.
You more likely see their helmet than you see their face.
Yeah, yeah. But the game... So, what everyone knows is that the game is kind of lacking a story.
Yeah.
And I will second that because I played 6 missions.
Yeah.
Only did 1 mission on the moon, but the rest were on Earth. Started the game, went through the tutorial. If it wasn't for you kind of telling me what's happening, I don't know if I would have, A, paid attention, or B, cared.
Right. And I think part of it was because we were talking about stuff, and if I talked over something, I would try to tell you, oh, this is what you missed.
Yeah.
But also, it is one of those things where, I don't know, if because you were playing for camera or whatever, and you weren't really getting into it that much, it is easy to not pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah, because really, all the story comes from Dinklebot.
Right.
And he says stuff during loading screens.
Yeah.
But again... I'd immediately be tuned out during a loading screen, especially a loading screen that's just a ship flying.
Right.
If there's something to look at during the loading screen, like the first time you see the loading screen, you're like, wow, that's a really nice loading screen.
Yeah.
But already after like 6...
Yeah, you just drown it out.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a loading screen. I'm going to take my drink of water. I'm going to consult my diary that I keep.
Right. I mean, that was one of my criticisms of the game early on, was just that the way they portrayed the story was lacking. And, like, the loading screen voiceover just... Even though I wanted to pay attention to the story, I just couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, because the cutscenes are beautiful, because the game's beautiful, and obviously it's one of those games where initially going in, if I didn't know the story, I'd be like, oh, it's one of those games where you explore, and then you find terminals or you find audio logs, and then the story kind of comes to you. Because the story is only portrayed in these grimoire cards, which, once again, like, we can go over this 100 times, but it's like, don't make me leave the game to get the story of the game I'm playing.
Yeah.
Give me a codex. Give me the Mass Effect codex, where it's pause, go to the grimoire cards, and then it's just, I can read it on screen, and then I'm still in the game.
Yeah,
I can read 2, and I can go do a mission. I can read 2, I can read them as they come up.
Yeah.
But, like, it's a terrible system.
It's an awful system. I mean, part of it's the fact that it came so late in development. It wasn't obviously their goal from the start to have these cards be the way they told the story.
Yeah.
But because they last minute gutted the story completely out of it, I think that's why there's no like real UI for reading the cards.
Yeah.
Because you'd think that would be the first thing they would do. Is at least just have the cards visible on your console. Like,
yeah. I mean, because just we've seen games, like I said, like every Mass Effect, every Dragon Age, BioWare obviously is known for it because they have deep stories, but other games have little codex where it's just like, hey, did we use a term that you might not know?
Yeah.
Look up what this means. So that aside, like, I couldn't tell you anything of what's happening. Now, I mean, it hasn't even been an hour since I played it. I know that I was dead for a while.
Yeah.
I was revived by a robot who then is linked to me like baby ducks,
Imprinted.
Yeah, it was imprinted. I found a spaceship to get off the planet because I was being hunted by aliens. Essentially he was being hunted. I wasn't, because I was dead. Nobody cared about me.
Yeah.
I fought some dudes. They obviously wanted Dinklebot. I got off. I went to my apartment, also known as the Crucible. Ran around. Yep. Talked to a bunch of dudes. No one says anything. They're all just shopkeeps. It's like, what are you buying?
Yeah. Yeah. There's you can't just interact with the world. It's like you want it to be Mass Effect as far as the Citadel goes, but it's not.
Yeah. I was looking for a little more from the tower.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's where you're going to get missions, and you're going to get bounties, and there's a lot of, I guess, looking at what the bounty is and accepting it and blah, blah. You're kind of getting some story there.
Yeah.
But it's really just like shopkeep to shopkeep to shopkeep. Like, everyone sells something. There's not just one guy who's just doling out missions. Like, even the guy who's just like, I'm the
Well, there
speaker.
is one guy that doles out, like, the bounties for the most part.
Yeah, but
And
even, like, the
job.
speaker who you think is, like, this is the main character who's propelling the story along.
Uh-huh.
And remember, kids, drink Propel. Great drink.
Do they even still make it?
Yeah, I've seen it in stores. It's pretty good. But even he is also selling items. So you could still talk to him and be like, whoa, I want that sweet cloak you got.
Yeah. That's sort of tied into, so there's also other ones around that you didn't really go to, that you didn't notice, but there's like different factions and stuff.
Yeah.
And, but the thing is, you can't just go and buy stuff from any of them. You have to do certain things.
You have to do a mission, earn their trust.
Yeah.
Sure.
And like, that's the thing, like they all have emblems or whatever, the different factions, and you have to like complete missions while wearing their cloak or whatever, and you get enough experience points, and then they let you buy their stuff.
Which is fine, but I'm just saying, like, in the real world, not everyone's a shopkeeper.
No, of course not. Yeah, of course not. But that's kind of what that place is supposed to be, is like...
Yeah. Or just make,
that's
like,
where you buy stuff.
Make the tower, I guess, no, don't make it like the Citadel, but make it like 2 different screens. Make it the tower, and that's like your shop and your main hub, and then make it, I don't know, the embassies, where then it's like...
But that's the thing, it's because both of us were trying to make it more like Mass Effect, because we really like the way Mass Effect is, but it's not really what it's supposed to be. Like, it's...
Okay. I mean, I'll stop harping on it.
No, I agree with you that it would make it better.
Yeah.
But I don't think it has to... Like, it can still serve its function of what it wanted to do without having it be like, you go around and talk to people to get missions that way. Yeah. Like you do for the DLC, but it's still like one character that you get the missions from.
So then after that, I had to go get a warp drive.
Yeah.
That was mission 2, right?
Yeah.
So then I land back on Earth. And then I guess the game kind of begins. Because the first level, getting the ship, is the tutorial. The tower is obviously kind of tutorial. So there's the open world, as you call it, and then there's the mission.
There's like there's like the shared world where other people can exist.
And so that's just this huge, big area. Enemies are constant. Yeah. You can explore. You can get some kills. You can do whatever. And then you get to a mission, and then they kind of tell you that this is a specific mission, and if you die here...
You gotta start over.
You gotta start the mission over.
Yeah. Where if you die in this shared world, it's just you respawn, and there's no penalties for dying.
Yeah. I like the idea, in principle, of a shared world. Because obviously, like, you explained it, where obviously, if I kill a guy, and then I move forward, then somebody else has to come through.
Yeah.
You don't want them fighting nothing. You want it like the haunted house, which is a really good analogy, where it's just like, I'm going to get jump scared, but then I'm going to walk past that part. Then the person behind me
gets reset,
has
so everybody
to
goes...
also get that jump scare.
Yeah.
But at the same time, to me, as the way I would approach a game like that, I'm a big explorer, like look in nooks and crannies, do weird jumps, try and find chests, try and find items. The rate at which they respawn seems very quick, because like even if I don't leave the area, it should almost be an area of effect.
Yeah.
This circle, 3 guys are in, whatever it's going to be. And you're in the circle and you kill those 3 guys. As long as you stay in that circle, maybe it's a small circle, maybe it's a big circle, those 3 guys, once they're dead, won't respawn. Then once you leave, more come in. And that way I can at least kind of like, I want to explore this whole world. I want to find new weapons. I want to find new armor. I want to get better. I want to level up, whatever it's going to be. I feel like I'm still making some sort of progress.
Yeah. Now, there's a little bit of a difference because you were just playing the first couple of levels, and when they do that, they kind of block you off from the shared world for the most part. Yeah. It's like you only saw like 1 or 2 guys here and there, and that's because a lot of people have already played a lot, so they're not playing the level 1 or 2 story missions. But if you were like a level 30 and stuff, and you went in to do those same missions, you would see like 20, 30 guys in the same play space.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense that they respawn super fast, because otherwise there would just never be any enemies anywhere.
Yeah.
Like I did notice it playing with you this time, that okay, they respawn super fast, and you could have just sat there and keep shooting them over and over if you wanted to. But like I said, when there's a lot of people there, half of those guys aren't there because they've already been killed and they haven't reset yet. So when you move through the space, it always seems like enemies are in different places.
Which, kind of tangent, is when games expect there to always be a plethora of people.
Yeah.
Once the game has kind of, I don't want to say run its course, once the game has started
there's not
to
a lot
trickle,
of people playing on
then
it,
that's when you start to notice, like, okay, if you didn't make it like this.
Yeah.
Because, like, I guess I don't want to compare it to Singularity, but that was a multiplayer game that or the multiplayer portion I just finished. Uh-huh. You couldn't start a game without 8 people. You couldn't.
Yeah.
Not in a private match, nothing. You had to have 8 or nothing. And so it's like, yeah, we anticipate this game's going to be really big, so 8 is no big deal. You won't even notice it. But now that there's maybe 5 people who want to play, they could never play a game.
Yeah.
And so that's necessarily like playing the level 30 missions is how it's meant to be played when there's 20, 25, 35 people. But in, let's say, 3 months, if somebody gets this game late, like I would have gotten it, if I had an Xbox One, then I'm playing through all these beginning areas, empty, alone, scared, and it's just respawning constantly. And I'm like, I can't explore. I can't do anything. I'm fighting the same guys. I'm going to be level 40.
You can just avoid them, I mean.
Yeah,
you don't always have to kill them.
If they're shooting me.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I could be like...
Like, they don't, like, come after you or shoot you across the map. Like, they do kind of leave you alone if you move outside their radius. But no, I know what you're saying. But I don't know of any way else they could have done it.
No, I think because I'm a genius, you have your little area of effect. And it's just, if there's people here, maybe it's not even just one person. Maybe it's 2 people. Or whatever. There's 2 people in this area. All the guys are there.
Yeah.
We'll respawn. But if there's 1...
I do know that different things trigger differently depending on how many people are in a certain area.
But then, after that mission, I can only pull snippets out of what I was doing. I was finding dead ghosts. I was investigating their death.
Yeah.
I was finding dead robots, and I was rescuing them. other things happened. I went to the moon,
Right.
but I don't think going to the moon is the actual portion of the story. It's probably what I did on the moon, which was rescue a robot from the Altar of Darkness.
I mean, story aside, because obviously,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows there's not really much of a story there, unless if you really dig deep into it. But then it's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
But how did you feel about just the overall game experience, like the gameplay and the
like,
weapons and the?
I mean, I agree with you. Like, the mechanics are tight. I mean, obviously, like, they've done shooters before.
Yeah.
So the shooting feels like a shooter should. I mean, it's also, you have your double jumps and you can hide behind cover and you can hit people in the head for more damage and, you can switch weapons on the fly and you can stab people and all that stuff feels like it should. All the buttons are in the places that they should be.
Yeah.
And if I was just to play it like a shooter, if it was just, another Halo, if all of a sudden it wasn't, this big,
Huge,
world,
MMO
and if it
sort
was,
of thing.
and if it was just a story that you play with your buds, and it's over when you hit level 20, and like not your character, and then if you just like, okay, we beat the game, there's the credits roll, then it'd be great. So all that stuff is works fine. I mean, I enjoyed shooting people in the face. I enjoyed
stabbing
them repeatedly.
Yeah.
I felt that, at least, granted, I only encountered 2 of the bad guy races. Isn't there 3?
There's 4.
There's 4?
Yeah.
And
there's also enemies within those races that you haven't encountered yet. So.
Yeah. So obviously it's kind of hard to say because obviously I know I haven't seen everything.
Yeah. You only saw one planet and then one mission on the moon.
I want, in terms of missions, I want there to be something else to break up. Go here, deploy your ghost. He talks for a little bit.
Yeah.
Go to the next spot.
Which is, things that other people have said too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I don't know. It's
I don't know.
Every sort of shooter kind of breaks down to that mechanic anyways. You just basically, you're on a level, go to one point to the other, shooting things along the way.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know how they fix it. I mean, even if it's just, I don't know. I guess I'd say, like, as opposed to make a mission where I have to destroy, like, obviously go somewhere, but, like, there's turrets shooting down our ships. Go destroy these turrets. And as opposed to walk to a computer, deploy Dinklebot, watch him destroy it, like, I had to shoot the guy who's, manning it, and then I gotta throw a grenade in there, or something like that, just to kind of be like, I felt like I achieved what needed to be achieved.
Right.
Because there's that one that's in the beginning where it's destroy this old trap.
Yeah.
But in order to destroy the trap, first you have to deploy Dinklebot, defend him, and then when there's no enemies around, then it's just like, okay, now shoot this until it explodes.
Yeah.
So again, like 6 missions probably isn't enough to judge, but give me something where I'm supposed to destroy.
There are some things that are closer to what you're looking for, and certainly like the strike missions are basically that.
Yeah.
There's not that many of them, but still they're fun and they have like a goal. Like there's one thing you're going for, and then you do have to defeat like a boss or do whatever.
Yeah.
And there is one of the other story missions too that it's like you're going there to destroy something, and when you get there, you have to shoot it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Also, there's some different gameplay mechanics, like with the sword, like the one sword guy that you killed, and you had to get the sword. There's one story mission on the moon that's centered solely around you getting that sword and then using that sword to destroy things. So, I mean, there's a little bit of variety, but in a game that's that you play for 200 hours, maybe there's not enough.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't judge that yet. But
no,
I'm
I
just
can't.
saying,
I certainly can't judge it.
Yeah.
I would say though, if I play 6 missions and all 6 are set up the same, besides there was one that was kill a boss, and that was like the wizard for the first time.
Yeah, and it was when you got the drive, it was kind of like a boss also.
Yeah. So there's been 2 bosses, and there's been the rest have been deploy and defend. So I guess what I would say is if I rented that game as opposed to bought it. And granted, I'd play it for more than 2 hours, but if I rented it and the first 10 missions, let's say, are all like just the 2 variants, and then I know from experience, like I'm just like, I got 200 hours of this, that wouldn't, like I'd be like, I need more. You need to show me in the beginning that there's more. You need to go like, here's a boss, here's 2 Dinklebots.
It seems like what they try to do at least is once you start to get sick of something, then they change it up, but not before. So like you haven't played long enough for them to be like, okay, we have to rewrite the rules.
Yeah.
So they're like, sometimes they do that with the level design. Sometimes they do that with the enemy types. Like like the Vex enemies, like they act completely differently than the first 2 you faced. Same like the Cabal and stuff. So it's like that's one of the ways they sort of mix stuff up.
And then I guess the loot system
is like any other loot system.
It's like any other loot system. It's better in terms of it's more infrequent drops, which is good in terms of I'm not constantly...
Yeah.
I got something, pause, menu, like you would for Borderlands, you would for Diablo. Any of those games where immediately you get something, you get so much of it from every guy. Every guy is dropping a different shield or shoulder pad that you're just constantly navigating menus. And I like how it is just set, for most part, not the guns are different, because the guns actually have a recoil and kind
there
of
are
things.
stats to it.
But for the armor, I like that it's literally just a number. So it's very easy to just be like, I have 16, here's an 18.
Right.
Like, I know which one's better.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, playing through originally, I always had all my guns I had were as many spots as I could fit in my inventory. And like my clothes, I had like almost no clothes. Because it was every time I got something that was better, I would get that and delete the old one because I don't need it. If it's like
you're never
clear cut that it's better, there's no reason to ever put the other one on.
Yeah. So I like that in terms of the loot system, which I feel is better than other loot games I've played. But the caveat is, because it's so infrequent, that I'm just like, okay, when am I going to get like a new? Because I know it's randomized too.
The randomized thing I think is what upsets people more than anything else, because you can randomly get, a legendary like random drop when you're like a level 10.
Yeah.
And then the people that have played 300 hours still haven't gotten that specific thing just because it's so random.
And I feel like that's something that if I was to play for more than X amount of hours, it would definitely be noticeable. I played for 2.5 hours. I never came across a cloak. I never... And I don't know, those aren't random.
The thing is, you're going to get one in this story, and then after that, you can buy them. So once you get to a certain level, like right now, the game is sort of just randomly dropping stuff for you, and you'll get one as a reward. But after that, you kind of have to work towards what you want. That's why you go to like a specific shopkeeper and be like, okay, these are the requirements I need to buy this weapon.
Yeah.
So then you go through those steps because you're like, oh, I want to buy this specific weapon, or I
want
to buy this specific armor piece.
It's not like I can't like just hope that I'm going to get something better.
No, you can. Yeah, you totally can. You still get random stuff throughout the game. But I'm saying like you're like, oh, I want this cloak. This cloak is awesome. You're like, okay, what are the requirements? Oh, I got to get this level of experience, or I got to get this many like items to trade in. Then then you go and work towards that for a while. Then you get that specific thing. So there's only a handful of weapons that you can only randomly get. Everything else you can set out to get on purpose.
Yeah, I guess because I would always think that there's always the thing with loot games too is there's always something better. Is kind of the thought. So if I was just like, oh, I want to work towards this cloak, I would also in the back of my mind be like, I'm going to spend 2 hours working towards this cloak, and there's a chance that I'm going to kill a guy the second I get it, and it's going to be better. So it's almost like I don't know if I can... Granted, of course, it's random, but I don't know if mentally I could justify, like, I really want to work towards this, and then the first time I did that and I got something better relatively quickly, or just going through a story mission, be like, I just wasted this much of my time shooting one guy over and over again, or like kill 200 Drex or whatever it is. And just be like, I could have done that without thinking about it.
Right. It's also the way you play the game too. Like usually you should make it your secondary mission, not your primary goal is to just do whatever the requirements are to get this weapon. It's like, okay, I'm gonna... Just like a bounty. Like, it's there in the background, and you can sort of work towards it if you want to, but it's not like you're going to sit in one spot and just do one thing over and over. I mean, you certainly can grind. Like, that's a way that people play. Like, grinding and farming is the way people play MMOs, but you don't have to.
No.
Same thing, though. You might get a really good weapon or a really good cloak. Like, before working towards anything, and those are the most exciting.
Well,
because
yeah.
you'll get that before you can buy one. You usually get like a legendary weapon before you can buy one. It'll randomly drop. So that's
the thing
that's
is, like,
exciting. Then you're like, yeah, awesome.
That's
I get
what
to
I'd
use
want
this
to
weapon.
happen, though. I don't. That's why I wouldn't. If I was playing, if I'm just thinking future Phil, I would never work towards a weapon or anything. If it would always just be like, I'd play X amount of story missions, and then I'd just go like, oh, I happen to get a random one that's better, as opposed to, I guess like picking up all this still weeds that are in the ground or whatever they are to make sure that I have 50 of them, so I can trade it in so I can get this.
Yeah.
Like the ones that are just like kill so many guys or whatever, that just happens.
That happens
while
anyways.
you
That's what
play
I'm saying.
anyway.
Like they're like in the background. You don't necessarily have to go after them. Sometimes it's like, oh, go do this mission on heroic,
Yeah.
and then you'll get something. So
yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would.
okay, that was going to be my question.
I definitely see. I mean, I would still agree that it's not a Phil game.
No,
Um,
but yeah, I think you could probably still play it more and still have fun.
Yeah, but it's definitely, and again, it's definitely, and we've talked about this before, it's definitely a game, especially now that they're gearing towards it, where it's like, I would only play it with friends.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd play Destiny, I would have done the same thing, I would have started 5, 6, maybe 7 missions, something like that, just to kind of get a feel for how the game is. But then I would just purposely and only play with other people.
Yeah.
Because there's kind of that balance where it's just like, I don't want to get too far ahead because then it's super easy for me, and then they're not having fun because I'm like one-shotting guys if they're lower levels. But at the same time, I don't want to play solo and someone else who I want to partner up with is also playing solo and then they're too far ahead.
Yeah.
So it'd be like you have to find somebody that is willing to play at the exact same pace as you, give or take a level.
Yeah. I will say that, though, that they would have to change the way they do the enemy leveling.
Yeah.
So you could play with people in different that are different levels than you. But the problem is, which is the problem with like Gears of War does that. Like I can play on easy, you can play on insane at the same time. Is people use that to exploit the game then?
Yeah.
Where the easy person just goes ahead and destroys the high level enemies then, because the guy that's if it's a level 30 enemy, it's going to be super hard for me, even if I'm a level 30.
Yeah, no, I
So
understand.
you can go in, it's level 2 for you, and you can just one-shot them every time.
That's the problem, though, is that... And no game has done this perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, you think, like, we played Dead Island for a little bit, and that's really just, again, it scales to whoever's hosting the match.
Right.
So it's just like, oh, you're 10 levels below me. Perfect. I'll take care of this.
Yeah, you just sit there and level up by not doing anything.
Yeah, you're going to level up because I'm going to help you get all this experience. And they do the same thing in Borderlands, where it's scaled to the whoever's hosting. So you can have a level 50 join a level 5, and then it's just like, here, you'll get all these great weapons, and I'm going to kill everything, and you're going to fly through the game. So I don't fault Destiny for having that as a system, because, again, that's kind of now how it is.
Yeah.
I guess my fault is that I just don't... Because, like, I know the single player is not, the actual missions.
Yeah.
Once I finished, I would only then play with multiplayer. And at that point, it's just like, I only want to play when someone else is around the same.
Yeah, I mean, you can play the entire story with other people, too. I mean, you can do everything co-op. Also, once you beat it, you unlock higher levels of that. Like, if you want to go back and play the first mission again, you can go play back the first mission and be like, okay, do I want to be like level 14, 16, 18, 30, like whatever. You can pick what level you play at then.
Yeah. So then it scales the enemies, and then it's not just stuff.
So it's not like, oh, I've already beat the level 1 enemies, so I can't go back now as level 30 because there's no reason, there's no challenge. But yeah, you can actually change the stuff. So there is replayability within those levels, even though you might get bored.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But
it'd still just be playing those levels, and like I'd be like, oh, I know that I'm coming up to the head boss. I should save a couple rockets or whatever it's going to be. So like, I don't know. It's just one of those games that I feel that is obviously, and it's meant to be played multiplayer. So for me, not having a huge group of friends who are readily available, that kind of just contributes to like, yeah, I had fun playing today, but because I know that the only other person that has it is you,
It's me,
and like you've already gone 6 million levels with 5 different character classes. Granted, you could start.
I could start a new one, a new character. Yeah,
It's like at the same time, like
I would
you've
still be
played
doing
it,
better, even if I was the same level as you, because I've done it so many times.
Well, and you're just better at shooters than me. You don't throw knives into the ground at the foot of a guy charging you.
Like, I think for the time that we played, you got a good taste of what it's like. I mean, obviously, a game that's this expansive, it's hard to give it a fair shot without playing everything.
Yeah.
But the one thing I do wish that you would have been able to do was play a strike mission, which is the sort of, you get match made with 2 other people, so it's like a 3-person long mission that has, 3 or 4 steps where you have to, like, go defend something or go kill a boss or kill a tank or do all that stuff. And I think that would have just been a different experience that you didn't get on the playing just solo, just to see a little bit more of what the game can be like.
But again, like, I'm not much for playing with randos.
No,
Rando Calrissians.
No. But because I couldn't sit there and play with you on the same screen.
No, I
that
know.
would be the way to show how it's like to play with somebody else.
But then I'd play but I feel like that would also impact how I judge strikes. Because if I played with 2 other people who I don't know, well, I'm obviously not going to wear a headset and talk to because, F them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, maybe they're super nice or maybe they're super mean, but just be like, because I'm not playing with friends, I'd just be like, this is boring. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because they're going off in a different direction or they're not doing what I want to do. And then I'd sit and pout.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, like I said, it's fun. It'd be enjoyable. If I had an Xbox One and I got it the same day as you, I would have played with you. It would have been fine. But now that A, time has passed, and B, knowing that it's everyone has already gotten past that point, it's fun, but I wouldn't buy it.
Okay.
That's what I'd say. If I got an Xbox One tomorrow, and you're like, Phil, go pick out 3 games, Destiny wouldn't be one of my
What are your 3 games? Just side note.
I would probably do Dead Rising 3.
Uh-huh.
I would probably do, like, Murdered Soul Suspect. And then I would probably do another game.
Is Murdered not on 360?
It is on 360.
Oh, okay.
No, I do Shadows of Mordor.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
And I'd probably do actually Sunset Overdrive. So I'd do Sunset, Shadows, and I'd do...
Let's be honest, it would be NBA 2K15.
No, because I have it.
You would still want to play on the Xbox, though.
So I get the cheap bits?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be 2K15. Then I can get my face in there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those would be, I guess, my 3 games.
All right, well, just to top off, I don't know if you have any final thoughts about it. About Destiny in general.
It's a better than I thought game, but I think I also would say
we'll just cut that off and use that as the back quote
better
to
than
sell
I
the
thought
game. Better than I thought.
But I would, knowing how long it is, I think if I played for a full 200 hours.
Yeah, but try to block out all of the external knowledge you have of the game and what else is going on, just based solely on your experience.
If I'd never heard about the game and I got it, and I only had my experience from games I've played in the past, I'd be like, oh, it's a better Borderlands. That's would probably be super fun multiplayer, and I will have to put more time in. That would be, at this point, that's what I'd say.
I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah, we recorded the audio while you were playing Destiny, so I might drop in a couple of highlights right now.
Is that what I'm going to look like?
No, it's just based on the class, and then you get to customize your character.
Cool. Good work.
Yeah.
Here, I found a rifle. Grab it. Hope you know how to use that thing.
You'd be surprised how little I know. Oh, flanked him.
Punch him. There you go. Knifed in the face.
Duck. And wink.
I know what's going to happen. Knife in the face. I know your strategy so far.
Yeah.
I think so.
What a dummy. What a stupid dummy.
Looking over there where you last saw you.
You want a knife fight, buddy?
That knife just scared him. He just ran away from it.
Yeah, you outsmarted me.
All you gotta do is show him the knife. There you go.
Ooh.
Dance up on this guy. Look at him. Look at his shoulder pads. He wants it.
Mhm.
There you go. That was a nice way to finish your dance.
Nobody hides from
My sniper rifle.
Tom's skilling.
Okay.
Weather forecast.
Yep. The forecast is murder.
That's from above!
Just throw it past all of them.
Oh, stabby stabs. So I died.
Yeah, he died.
But two stabby guys.
You just gotta start that part over.
You dickhole.
He's gonna kill you. Yep.
I think my problem with first-person shooters, I don't like it when the guys move.
Yeah. Makes it a lot harder, doesn't it?
I just feel like guys should stand still if they're gonna get shot.
Yeah. You could have the common decency to not move.
I would do it.
Yeah, sometimes you do.
Yeah.
Nice. How'd that feel?
I mean, I don't even know if there should be any other weapons besides knives in this game.
Yep.
I know it's a space blimp.
One of those space blimps.
Gonna say that was probably grenade of the century.
Yep. They should just retire grenades after that one.
You wouldn't need them.
Nope. Use it on the night.
You said waste it?
Yeah. Just fire around them like you're trying to make a dance in the Old West.
I'm the best motorbiker in the planet! And you didn't think charging the wizard was gonna work?
No. Well, if he would have
You
killed you,
even-
you would have had to start the mission over.
Have you even played this
You
game
get so
before?
lucky, I'm telling you. So just to top it off then, there is a little bit of sort of Destiny news.
Okay.
So there was a leaked document that came out in October that everybody kind of like wrote off as like BS. But anyways, it showed their release schedule for the next year of like DLC and stuff.
Okay, I
So
saw this.
after the first DLC came out and everything it said turned out to be true, now people are thinking that's accurate. So basically, there's 4 main expansions to the game, or 4 DLC expansions. The first one already came out, The Dark Below, which covers the Hive, which is one of the enemy classes. Then the next one is House of Wolves, I believe, which covers the Fallen, which is another enemy class you already beat. And then the other 2, which are not announced yet, are like the Vex and the Cabal, which are the other 2 things. So it makes sense that there's 4 DLC. 1 focuses on each enemy class. But there's also supposedly a huge update that comes out sometime in either the summer or early fall called Comet. Mm-hmm. There's not much known about it other than somebody that had worked on the game did confirm that was a code name for a huge expansion that's supposed to come out.
Yeah.
So whether or not it's an overhaul of all the systems and adding more content, or if it's like paid DLC, who knows? But it is interesting to see what's going to happen. So basically, I think if you were to buy this game at Christmas this year, 2015 Christmas, I think it would be a lot closer to the game people are expecting it to be as soon as it came out. Like, it's already made a lot of changes.
Yeah.
But I think, because I really do think they took all the content out of the game and cut them up into DLC. Especially because they took 1 from each enemy class, and it obviously uses words and stuff that already tied into what we had played.
And I agree with you. It's Destiny, because it's gone through so many changes, obviously is better than when you got it release date. It's just all the updates. Granted, maybe some weapons got nerfed that you liked or didn't like or whatever, but they're still constantly making changes and fixing some things that people obviously like certain ways to beat bosses.
Yeah.
But then I imagine if you got it, when Comet came out, probably be, again, closer to what you're expected to be. Like, I imagine they're going to keep growing on it.
Yeah.
The question is,
But my thing is, I don't think that, because this has come out so long ago, too, I don't think they're making new content for the game that they're going to release later. I think all of this content was originally in the game that they cut out. Like, I don't think they're working on the 4th DLC pack right now. I mean, they might be doing tweaking and fixing stuff. But I think that 4th DLC stuff had already been created last year.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
I mean, here's the problem. It's like, I wouldn't put it past Activision.
Right. Exactly.
Because, like, to me, Activision and EA are the two companies that are just notorious for screwing over their consumers.
Yeah.
Whether that's, through $20 DLCs for whatever, 5 missions.
Yeah.
Or whether it's $20 DLCs for a new skin for a gun with a marijuana leaf.
Right. And I mean, assuming that they don't make you pay for comment, even though they probably will, if you were to just buy the original game and the 4 DLC packs,
And if they're all
it's
the same price.
$140. $140 for basically what you should have gotten with the original 60.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though, is like, DLC is great. It's supposed to add life to the game. But at some point, like, I don't want to spend $300 on a game.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
So it's
Especially when they're coming out like so soon, because I like how I talked about before how they changed the way you upgrade your weapons
Yeah.
now with the DLC, and it kind of made it you kind of had to start over.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the way a lot of MMOs do stuff when they come out with expansions. But that's when it's been 3 years since the last
Yeah,
expansion.
I mean, you look at, like, World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
They recently came out with a new expansion, whatever, a year
Right.
ago, whatever it's been. But the last one was, like, 4 years ago.
Right, and they're allowed to reset things if you want to then, because you've already been doing it for 3 years or whatever, they want to
Yeah.
sort of start things fresh and add the DLC, but when it's been 3 months since
Yeah.
the game came out, you don't want to make everybody start over, because then they're like, I have no reason to play this game then.
Yeah.
If you're just every 3 months you're going to reset everything, no thank you.
And I think the kind of their uphill battles, I just don't think console games have the shelf life that, like, a PC game does. Because I just feel that everyone played Destiny, but all of a sudden, like, and that's because the Xbox One was new, there wasn't a lot of games.
Yeah.
When we get 3-4 months in, like, we had our big winter releases that came with new games that people enjoyed, and then we're going to have all those games who avoided the Christmas rush
Right.
that come out in February because they want, like, their own platform.
Yeah.
Like, I guess my thing is, I don't know how long Destiny's shelf life is going to be when it's like Halo 5's going to come out.
Yeah.
And that's going to steal a lot of people because it's going to be like, we want to see what they can do, and Halo's always just a big seller.
Yeah, it
You're
seemed
going
like-
to have another Call of Duty come out
Yeah.
before Destiny does.
Right, because Master Chief Collection and the new Call of Duty came out right around the same time, which is like 2 months after Destiny did.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know, I haven't seen numbers on this or anything, but I feel like it had to have taken away a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, because there's people, even just looking at, like, my friends list who were playing Destiny, who are now Master Chief Collection for everything.
Right, and I hate to say it, but I think a lot of it does have to do with achievements. I know everybody doesn't care about achievements, but, like, the Destiny DLC had no achievements, which give you less of a reason to pay all that money for it.
Yep.
And then Master Chief Collection has all of the achievements for every game. Like, there's so many goddamn achievements in that game. You can't not get an achievement for doing something. So, like, it always makes you feel like you're doing something and completing something.
Yeah.
Because every couple minutes, you just bloop, bloop.
I mean, because I will say, like, we've had this conversation, but if I had an Xbox One, like, if we weren't talking achievements, I would never even consider getting the Master Chief Collection. Because my argument was that I've played all 4 Halos.
Yeah.
I'd probably get Halo 5 when it comes out because I haven't played that.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, like, if I was still into achievements, it's like you have to get Halo because there's 2,000 achievements.
Yeah.
That you're just like, okay, I'll play through these games. I'll see the updated stuff.
Yeah.
That'll be cool.
And that's the thing. It really does give you incentive then to do these other things that you might have already done because you're getting achievements for it.
Yeah.
Like, I would not have played the Spartan Ops from Halo 4 again if I didn't need to for the achievements.
Yeah. Good times.
Good times. Anyways, so I thought we would keep doing, well, I don't know what to call this. We're going to call it the game corner. We're going to play a couple of games right now. These are the games that we had talked about previously in one of the episodes that we wanted to try out some new games. So right now the games are Trivia, the back cover game, and
Random
3-word pitch. How about that?
3-word pitch. I like it.
Okay.
I like that game.
And since we haven't explained that one, I'll explain it really quickly. So basically,
We should explain it when we're going to play it.
Good point. Fair enough.
We don't want to lose them.
So, what do you think we should play first? Trivia or back cover game?
I think we should do back of boxes.
Back of boxes
Or
game?
back
Okay.
cover game.
So, our super fan, Chris 2, sent us 5 to do. So I have not looked at these yet.
Okay.
So hopefully they're not too obvious.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull them up right now.
While you're pulling it up, I
Yeah.
will explain the rule of the game.
Okay.
What we decided in a previous episode is that we would take the back, words.
The cover art from the
Yeah.
back of an actual physical box of a game.
Yeah, and we would read what it says. We wouldn't say the name of the game. We'd cut what we can that obviously gives it away. If you're reading the back for Halo 3, you're not going to read Master Chief is back, join Cortana.
Right.
In
Then
a
obviously
rating
that's a dead giveaway.
Yeah, it's just like that's a dead giveaway. So
Yeah.
you'd cut out names, you'd cut out, maybe they mention Halo Ring, you're going to cut out worlds that are going to make it obvious.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't want to cut everything down to...
Well, then if you have to cut everything, then it's a bad cover.
It's a bad
and
cover
you just
to
don't
use.
use it. So, yeah. So we're going to try this. He sent us 5. We'll do his 5. We both don't know what it is. And then
Sure.
we both compiled a couple that we'll go back and forth on and try to trick each other with,
Okay.
I guess. So his first one is America 1911. The Wild West is dying. When federal agents threaten his family, former outlaw is forced to pick up his guns and hunt down the gang of criminals he once called friends. Do you know what it is yet? I know what it is yet.
It's Red Dead Redemption.
It's Red Dead Redemption. Okay. So I only got not even halfway through that, and we both knew what it was. Okay. Second one here. Do you want to read it?
Sure. Epic Fantasy Reborn. The next chapter in the saga arrives from the makers of the 2006 and 2008 Games of the Year. The game reimagines and revolutionizes the open-world fantasy epic, bringing to life a complete virtual world, open for you to explore any way you choose. Freedom of choice, storytelling, and adventure are realized like never before. Dragons, long lost to the passages
then
of
I got
history,
it.
have returned, and the future hangs in the balance. At the hero born with mystical power, you're the only one who can stand against it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Inquisition.
No, I'm guessing Skyrim.
Ooh, 2006 to 2008. Would that be Morrowind and...
Elder Scrolls, and then, right? Or was that... That was 2006 was Elder Scrolls, right?
well, they're all Elder Scrolls.
I'm sorry, that was
There's
Oblivion.
Morrowind and Oblivion
Yeah.
would be the 6, 8. Yeah, I guess that makes sense because then it's been about 4 years. It's probably Skyrim.
It's probably Skyrim.
The dragons immediately made me think Inquisition, and I guess
Yeah, it's Skyrim.
Dragon Age Origins was way after 2008.
Right. That's the problem. The Game of the Year thing is kind of a red herring because there's so many Game of the Years now. There's not
Yeah.
just one
Walking Dead.
institution
Oh.
that gives it away.
Yeah.
Everybody now, every magazine, every website, every whatever has their own award for Game of the Year. So, okay, number 3. I will seek vengeance upon those who have betrayed my family, only to cover a conspiracy bigger than I could have imagined. I am an assassin.
Well,
The last sentence
Yeah.
makes me believe that it's Assassin's Creed.
yeah, vengeance on my family.
So was that the second one? Because the first one was just about him becoming an assassin.
Yeah, I mean, I could say it's. I don't know. It's thrown. I feel like it's not Assassin's Creed.
Because it's too obvious. Because the word assassin.
Too obvious.
What would you say then? I don't know if I've played this game then. If it's not an Assassin's Creed game, I mean, what's thief?
Thief, you're not an assassin.
Right.
You're just a
yeah,
guy
he
who's-
wouldn't use that word.
Yeah. I mean, my guess is Assassin's Creed 2.
Too. Yeah, that's
Or
what I'm saying.
I'm going to say 3. I'm going to say
You're
3
gonna say 3?
just to be different.
Was
you're-
3 the
you're the Native
American
American.
frontier though? Okay,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
How wrong are we?
Assassin's Creed 2.
Okay. Which I have. I could actually just read my own back box.
Wait, you had that as one of the ones you picked?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah. I should
I was
know
like, you
then.
should have known.
Yeah. Number 4. This is a shooter unlike any you've ever played, loaded with weapons and tactics never seen. You'll have a complete arsenal at your disposal from simple revolvers to grenade launchers and chemical throwers. But you'll also be forced to modify your DNA to create an
got
even
it.
more deadly weapon, you. These modifications will give you superhuman powers, blast electrical concurrence into water to electrocute multiple enemies or freeze them, blah, blah, blah. I know, it's Bioshock.
Yeah, it's Bioshock. So obviously he hasn't seen us play this game before.
Well, we
so
haven't played it
We haven't played it
before.
before. That's what I'm saying. He
Yeah.
didn't. But I think these. It's so great that he sent us these.
Yeah.
But these are because one, they're blockbuster games that everybody played, and two, that would probably be the things that you would have cut out in the future. If we were going to do this,
Well, see,
I would cut out the thing about splicing the DNA. Because that's there's only one game that I know of that does that. Really.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing though, because it doesn't. I've never played BioShock, so the splicing DNA didn't give it away to me. What actually gave it away
was the lightning into the
it's
water.
the lightning into the water.
Because that's like one of the first things you do.
Yeah. And I can't think of any other game. Like I was thinking while you were like, I got it. I'm just like, I don't want to look like an idiot. But then the lightning into the water gave it away. So it's hard to know what you're gonna cut.
That's true. Yeah.
Because
it's your own personal things that might trigger it. So
yeah. All right. Last one from him.
Last one. Okay. It's been 6 months since the city was wiped off the map by a cataclysmic sandstorm. Thousands of lives were lost, including those of American soldiers sent into the city. Today, the city lies buried under sand, the world's most opulent ruin. Now a mysterious radio signal is picked up in the city, and a recon team is sent to infiltrate the city. They say the word city like every 3 words.
I think he cut out.
Oh, okay.
Because
Their mission is simple: locate survivors and radio for evac.
I think I have it.
The word sand gave it away for me, and the word American gave it away for me, because I have not played this game.
Yep.
But as far as what images I think of, I don't know if it's the box art, but it certainly was in the trailers, is an American flag like in sand.
Yeah.
So, do you want to say it?
I mean, I think it's Spec Ops: The Line.
Yeah.
It could not be. Maybe it's...
Yeah, it's Spec Ops.
Okay. Those were good, though.
Those were good. Those are great. Yeah, those are great games. I certainly have never read any of those descriptions.
No, I mean...
But I guess they did their job because they explained what the game was pretty well.
Out of all of those, which one, if you looked at the back of the box knowing nothing about the game, would have sold you to purchase it?
That's kind of hard because I do have
Well,
knowledge of all the games already.
But if you just look at that, I would say the one that gets me would be BioShock. Because it's like, you've never seen this before. We can splice DNA. Look at all these cool powers. My second one would be Red Dead. Because that one is just like, get revenge and go after the gang that, you know,
but that's what I mean. The Assassin's one is like that too. About they killed your family. You're an assassin. It's pretty simple and to the point, but it's less exciting than like 1911.
Yeah,
Old West.
Yeah, I'd say it would be BioShock, Red Dead for me, and then probably Skyrim, just because it's like it's a sequel to 2 Game of the Years.
Yeah.
And then
Spec
Ops, and then the Assassin's Creed one would be the one that doesn't sell me the most.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But somehow I feel like there's more to the back of that box of that than that one line, and he probably had to cut everything.
Well, I did notice I looked at like 1 or 2 that I didn't use from newer games. They don't like have a paragraph description anymore. No. It's just like picture like, oh, multiplayer, 16 players online and stuff like that. So, anyways, so now let's do a back and forth. You got 3 of them?
I got 3 of them.
Okay.
I even ranked them. I got an easy, medium, and hard for you.
Okay, give me the easy one.
Easy. The animal kingdom has lost its king, and the throne is up for grabs. That's it.
What?
The animal kingdom has lost its king, and the throne is up for grabs.
Can you give me any other clues? I really don't know. Let's just look at the Lion King game or like...
Well,
Animal Crossing or like...
I can't give you any clues because I don't... I mean, okay. I can give you the clue is it's the political party game.
Like Animal Farm? I don't understand.
Hail to the chimp.
Hail to the chimp. Okay, how is that supposed to be easy though?
Because
I don't know anything about the game. I don't have it, and nobody has played this game. So I'm really worried if that was your easy one.
Well, here's the thing. Right, let me preface this.
Uh-huh.
When I'm looking at the back of the boxes, I picked out maybe 7, 8 games.
Uh-huh.
A lot of them that I picked up, I'm just like, this is too easy.
Yeah.
So I tried to find ones that are a little bit more difficult, but at the same time realizing that I think I picked 3 games and you have 0 of them.
Yeah.
So I was trying to balance between, like, do I want to pick a game that he has, or do I want to try and pick a different game?
Yeah.
We have some kinks to work out.
Right. I mean, if your goal was to trick me, yeah, that was successful, but if that was your easy one?
That's what I thought the easy one was.
I might have to change some of mine then.
Okay.
Also, though, you don't want to look at a bunch of them. That's the thing. I picked up 6 and I used 5 of them, only because the one didn't have descriptions. Because, like, if you keep looking at the back of your boxes, this game's not going to last very long.
I'm going to tell you,
you're going to know what it is.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Like, you could tell me, like, I also picked up the back of the box to Time Shift, and I I have no idea what it says.
Okay. I'm
So.
sure it probably says something to do with time powers.
Probably says something about shift into time.
Okay. I'll get this is my easy one, okay?
I like the air quotes.
Okay, build a customized fighter, assemble the ultimate team, sniper, scout, soldier, gunner, defender, and commander. Then disassemble the enemy in this massive global conflict where only one country can reign supreme. I changed one word in that.
This is a video game. We're
This
not
is a
talking
video
Risk.
game.
This isn't Risk the board
No,
game.
we're not doing a board game one yet.
Assemble your squad. I got a couple floating in my head, like Brink, but I don't think it's Brink, or like Team Fortress. I don't think it's that. It's not XCOM, because you work together. So I got nothing.
Got nothing?
I got nothing.
Chrome Hounds.
Yeah, okay.
Because we've talked about it before, it's like all this, it's like one giant game that you were playing. Like you had to decide what country you were fighting for, and you had to stay for that country the entire time.
I never played it.
Yep.
So this is your Animal Kingdom.
I know, this is the one word I changed was build a customized hound. So that would have sort of given it away, so I changed the word to fighter.
Yeah, that's fine.
Full disclosure.
Okay. I only removed the name of the characters.
Okay.
This one might be even easier. But I wrote it as medium
Okay.
because I think the game is less well known.
Uh-huh.
Blank, that's the name of a character,
Okay.
is trapped in a nightmare, facing a choice of marrying his longtime girlfriend or moving on to an incredible blonde he just woke up next to. The worst part is, if he makes the wrong choice, he could end up dead. Hang out, drink, send texts, and watch the story unfold through full HD cinematics.
Is this, was this released as a disc, a game disc game?
Yeah, this is a game
is
disc
it
game.
like Leisure Suit Larry or something? Is it like one of Caitlin's dating simulators?
Nope. I mean, it's...
Can you give me a clue, like what year it came out, or
It's
what type of game it is?
it's a puzzle game.
Okay.
You move blocks, and then you have to climb them to get away from things.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Catherine?
Yep.
Okay.
I was gonna say both girls are named the same thing.
Okay.
Would have been my next clue. But yeah.
So I know nothing about that game other than what you and Caitlin have told me, so.
Yeah. That is how much I know about it too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part interactive story and part, I guess, puzzle game.
Yeah.
Because really, you play out these cutscenes of who you want to talk to and what choices you want to make, and then it kind of affects it. How much do you want to drink at the bar are things that you choose. And then when you go to this dream world, you have to solve this puzzle, which is essentially escaping whatever's chasing you.
Yeah.
And if you fail, then you die or restart. So it's like interactive story, but at the same time, they wove a game into it somehow. It's interesting.
Yeah. Did you finish it? Did Caitlin finish it?
No, Caitlin hasn't finished it. I think it gets
was like
pretty difficult.
Yeah, it was months ago she started, so
Yeah.
she
Well,
probably
hasn't
gave up on it.
Yeah, she hasn't really kept up with it.
Yeah. All right, here's my other one. Okay. A hostile environment, a vicious enemy, a deadly fight for survival. Choose to take out your enemies quietly or with massive firepower. That was the main thing. There was one other thing that wasn't part
Wolfenstein?
It was another. No, I will give you one other clue then.
Okay.
Okay. Slay ferocious wildlife or lure them to attack your enemies.
Far Cry 3.
No, it sounds exactly like a Far Cry game, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
Turok.
Touche.
But like reading that sounded like Far Cry, especially Far Cry 3 or 4.
Yeah, because I remember that's all people talked about. Is like I led this tiger to
Right.
this encampment and then it murdered everybody.
Yeah.
My guesses would have never been Turok. I had my first one, obviously. Then I was thinking Crisis because I'm just thinking like, okay, I was getting the jungle feel from
Right.
it. And then obviously when you read the animals, it would have been Far Cry 3. If you would have said no, I would have said Far Cry 4.
Right.
But I wouldn't have gone Turok. Okay. Last one. Are you ready?
I'm ready for
This
it.
is a mouthful.
This is the hard one?
This is what I think is hard.
Okay.
But obviously, Animal Kingdom I thought was easy, so I could just be off base here.
Yeah.
Learn the truth behind a massive cover-up of a catastrophic event that fractured time and threatens the world as we know it. armed with a powerful advanced weaponry and the experimental time manipulation device.
I mean, it's got to be Time Shift. You already told me
Nope.
that, though, right? Okay.
That was your free guess.
Okay.
Fight enemies from the past, the present, and the abominations caught somewhere in between. I have talked about this game.
Have you played it?
Yes. And where my other clue...
Is this an arcade game?
No, it's this game. It's called This Game.
Yeah.
My clue is that you play as either humans or monsters in multiplayer.
Is it that awful game that we played? No, it was like Monster Madness, like Battle for Suburbia.
No, I should have used that one.
I know. I don't know what this game is. So
I
if
did
you
have to
talked
cut
about
out a
it,
word.
if you talked about it, I was not listening.
The word was the time manipulation device, comma, singularity, comma, and then the rest of it.
Is it Singularity?
Yes, it's singularity.
Okay. Okay, here's another one. I thought this one was actually my easiest one.
Okay.
The virus, the source of your power, your enemy, The virus, the source of your pain, your enemy, your power. Unleash the deadly power of your weapon and become the hero. I removed one word that gave it away.
Oh, the virus is your friend. The only thing that I'm thinking of is darkness, and I know it's not the darkness.
Is that your guess?
That's my guess.
It was close. Dark Sector.
I
I believe you've played that, right?
Yeah, I played a little bit of it.
Yeah. So, like, the virus thing is what's making his arm all weird and armored, but it's
Yeah.
also what he gives him his power. You
Touché.
could also said, like, Infamous. It sounds like Infamous.
Yeah.
So there's another one that I had on here.
Go for it.
I mean, I have two more, but one... the thing is, you'll see why this doesn't work anymore.
Okay.
Okay. Where he came from, no one knows. What he wants is revenge on his old posse who packed him full of lead and left him under 3 feet of hard-packed desert clay. And then, I don't know, there's one more sentence that I can give you if you don't know what it is. I wanted you to think it was one game.
Okay.
One game that we already talked about, and that's why it doesn't work anymore.
The Destiny?
No.
That's what we talked about.
No, it was Red Dead.
Oh, okay.
And the last sentence is, justice shall be served one bullet at a time.
Man, I'm bad at this game.
We're 0 for 6 right now, right?
Maybe we should stick to the easier ones.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Gunstringer.
No.
There was one sentence that I cut out that is, you're
He's
a
a
skeleton
puppet.
marionette.
Yeah.
But doesn't that sound like Red Dead almost? Like, it's like, okay, like, he's
They left
out for
you for
revenge
dead.
from his old posse.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. Justice will be served one bullet at a time. Like, that sounds like Red Dead. That's why I was like, oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah, you're gonna fool me.
Yeah.
Did you have a final one?
I do have another one.
Okay.
The blank, which is the location this takes place in,
Sure.
once a paradise, has now been torn apart by civil war. Now you must choose, cutting out a word, a faction. Use your free-running movement system and your arsenal of weapons to fight across ever-changing battlefields.
Is it free running? Choosing? Is it Brink? Is
Yeah,
it
it's Brink.
Yeah.
That's why I wasn't going to say it.
Because I already guessed.
Because you already guessed it, yeah.
Yep. The free running. Immediately, I was just like,
There's not many games, especially shooters, that have free running. And
I
that was
key
one of
up
the
on,
first,
like, 2 words, and then I ignore the rest of what you say. I'm
Yeah.
like, free running, and I'm like, factions. Okay. I was just like, it's not Mirror's Edge. It's not Red Faction.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, our version of the game turned out to be harder than we thought it was going to be.
Almost impossible.
Yeah, so...
Here, and
I'm not against still playing it,
No,
though.
we can still play it. I think here are the tweaks that we need to make. One, we need to pick, for my case,
Yeah.
I need to pick games that you may have heard of.
Right, exactly. Because
I thought Hail to the Chimp you've heard of because it's a goofy, jokey, stupid...
I've heard of the name, but I have absolutely no idea what the gameplay is.
You pick different animals. It's basically Mario Party.
Okay.
You pick different animals who are trying to be president or king.
For whatever
of
reason,
Animal
I thought of it as the chimpanzee was the president of the United States of America of people.
Kingdom. Sure.
That's
Sure.
why the whole Animal Kingdom thing threw me
Yeah,
off.
no,
Like, I was like,
it's
Viva
understandable.
Pinata party animals?
Oh my god, I'm using that one.
Yeah.
You are a pinata.
Yeah, because the point was the overall point isn't to trick people with not knowing, like they never heard of the game, but the point is to trick them with the description of the game.
Yeah.
So like the best thing I think would be if you were to find a description for a huge blockbuster game and be able to describe it perfectly without people guessing. Like that's the goal, is to trick them in the description, not in the I've never heard of this game before.
We'll play the same game that we played with Chris 2's list. Out of your list that you wrote down, based on the description, just pick one.
Okay.
Out of your list where you were just like, yeah, that would have sold me on it. For mine was Singularity.
Okay, and it's a pretty bad game though, right?
Multiplayer is terrible.
Yeah.
Single player I haven't played as much of, but it's your run-of-the-mill shooter.
Yeah.
You just, every now and then, your guy kind of has flashbacks, and you have to, like, go in the flashbacks, but it's not like, it tells you it's like a time manipulation device. You think, like, oh, I can control time, and that's not the case. At least I haven't gotten to a part where I control time.
Yeah.
It's more of just, like, at this certain moment, I'm going to get cut back to what it was in the past, and then I have to continue playing.
Mine would maybe be either Chrome Hounds or probably Turok.
I would say Chrome Hound sounded the most interesting, but I know that
That's
game
the
is
problem.
also awful.
Right, that's why it kind of took me away. But yeah, I mean, I was super excited for Chrome Hounds before it came out, because one, it sounded cool, like the whole idea of like one giant fight, and also I really like mech warriors and stuff.
Sure.
So I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun, and then it was like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
So. All right, I think
Should we move on to trivia?
Yeah, let's move on to trivia. So you have 6 questions for us?
I have 6 questions.
Okay, let me, all right.
You want me to hit you with a question?
Yeah.
Some of these, multiple choice.
I'm assuming you don't know the answers, correct? Or
I know the answers to...
Oh, did you look them up?
No.
Okay.
I know the answers to one because I'm just looking at the question right now and it's easy.
Okay.
Mario's original name. What was Mario?
And, yeah, I mean, I don't
before
know.
he
I don't know
was
how we're
Mario?
gonna do this since we're both answering like we did before.
Well, since I already know I know it.
Yeah. Well, I know too.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Jumpman.
Ah, gotcha.
Oh, okay. You got me.
Yeah. Okay, it wasn't bad.
No. The rest...
Well, here I'll just do one. This one.
Okay.
This one's super easy too. So I have 20 of them, and from what the looks of them, they're not great.
Okay.
So we apologize, audience, for not the best questions. But next time, the difficulty with this is we have to have a third party create the questions, because we can't look at the questions and the answers. Because one, if we see the questions ahead of time, we might be able to figure out over time. And two, we can't obviously look up the answers.
Yep.
Because we'll know. All right.
And also we need the third party has to know both me and Chris relatively well
Right.
to be like, if all the questions were geared towards,
Like, yeah.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
And none of us knew
Ideally,
anything about
they would
Star
be
Wars.
like, like...
General?
No, but it wouldn't be like, hey, like, who created the Atari? It would be like something in the last decade or so. More like, oh, like, what's the character's name or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, who's the first person to die in a Final Fantasy game? Something like that. Do you know it?
Which one?
The first person to, like, actual permadeath in any of the Final Fantasy games.
Give me some time.
See, that was a hard one.
It.
Yeah, that was a hard one. Okay, which Steven Spielberg directed movie spawned a widely derided video game blaming for the hastening of Atari's decline and the, E.T.?
Yeah.
Like, that was super easy. Like, yeah.
So the rest of my questions...
Your questions are probably better, and I have more than you, so I'm going to do another one.
Oh my god, alright, fine.
What is the highest grossing film based on a video game?
I'm going to say it is Tomb Raider.
Yep.
Lara Croft's Cradle of Life, or whatever.
I'm just gonna say Tomb Raider. I think it's just Tomb Raider. It just says Tomb Raider. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows how old these questions are, anyways?
Why don't you do another one?
All right, I'll do 3 because I got more than 3 times as many as you. Okay, Nintendo, the world's largest video game company. Really? Are they still? Owns what Major League Baseball team?
The Seattle Mariners.
Yep.
Yeah. These I feel are they're
like
easy,
I said,
but they're better than my questions.
Okay.
And here's why, because my questions are kind of more multiple choice-ish.
Yeah.
So the first one is name 3 Xbox original launch games for the original Xbox that didn't include Halo.
That didn't include Halo?
So you can't say Halo.
I'm going to say Like, were launch games where they have to be exclusives or not?
No, they don't have to be exclusives.
Okay,
They're just launch games.
I'm gonna say, was Project Gotham one of them? Was Oddworld's Munch Odyssey?
That was one for sure.
That was one.
I know.
I just don't know if it came out at launch. I know it came out soon. I don't know if it came out at launch. The problem is I didn't get the original Xbox at launch.
I was gonna do 360.
Do you have?
I did not write down all of them, but I know some of them.
Uh-huh.
Because obviously I know Halo was one.
Well, yeah.
Oddworld is one of them.
Yeah.
You could name like any sports game.
Yeah, I didn't know if that counted. I mean, obviously, like a Madden 2001.
NFL Fever, 2002.
2002. Yeah.
Yep. I'm trying to think of what else there was. There's definitely...
I mean, was there like a Dead or Alive?
It might have been. Project Gotham or Forza. I can't remember which one it was.
I think Project Gotham was my
the original.
guess.
Yeah, no, it is. That's where you get stupid kudos points for everything you did. God, that game was awful.
All right. Dead or Alive 3.
Okay.
Fusion Frenzy. I forgot about that game. That was like a party game.
Yeah.
Madden 2002. NFL Fever 2002 and NHL Hits 2000-02, which I have. Oddworld. Yeah. Project Gotham.
Yep.
So technically we did 3. Also, you got like Shrek. You got Test Drive. I had that game. Didn't play
Test Drive Unlimited?
Off-Road Wide Open.
Sure.
Great title. Also, Tony Hawk. Pro Skater.
Yep.
2 times. Trans World Surf. I mean, there was other ones like 4x4 Evo 2. You know, one of those classics.
Yeah.
Air Force Delta Storm.
God, they had terrible
Cell
launch.
Damage. Yeah, I know. It was the Halo was the only thing that saved it.
Fever, I really enjoyed Fever. I wish I could play that again. I'd have to plug in the original Xbox to do it.
I think I might still have either. I
Well,
mean,
I have
that one.
the game.
Yeah.
I have the game, and I have an original Xbox. But the thing
Right.
is, like, it won't play on a 360.
That's one of the ones that aren't compatible.
I looked up the compatibility list. They just started doing the recent sports games. So, like, the last original Xbox Fever game was, like, 2005 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So that's the one that they made compatible.
Well, I
not
have an original
2002 or
Xbox if you
whatever.
wanna plug that in sometime, just to play NFL Fever. All right, let's move on. We got that. We got that one. Should I do 3 then?
Sure.
Okay. What video game console is the highest number of? Okay, this is poorly worded. Highest number of video game consoles sales of all time. I mean, once again, I don't know when this question came out. The next question says in 2012, so it's at least then. So my guess, I know what my guess is.
I'm geared towards the Game Boy. Because we're going up.
It's consoles, not handheld. I'm guessing.
Okay.
I'm guessing.
I'm guessing the Wii.
Guessing. You're guessing the Wii?
Yeah.
I'm guessing PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 like beat everything. So that definitely won that. Yeah, PlayStation 2. Once again, I don't know if that's maybe not current anymore, but certainly that generation it won. Okay, in 2012, Americans spent how many billions on video games? I mean, the word billions kind of helps you a little bit.
Yeah, it's not one.
Yeah.
It would be multiple billions.
Yeah.
Spitballing here, I'm going to say 5 billion.
You're going to say 5 billion. I think we were at like 8 to 9 million in 2005. Okay. So my guess is closer to 20. I'm going to guess 20.
20 billions.
I'm going to guess 20
billions
whole
of dollars.
billions of dollars. And that was 2 years ago. 3 years ago now, but fiscal year. 20.77
Jesus.
billion dollars. And that includes hardware sale and accessories.
Too much. America.
Yep. That's why
get fit.
GameSpot alone makes $15 billion a year from resales. That's why all the video game companies hate them, because they make as much as they do, and
just
they don't.
They
don't make any content. All right. In the early days of Facebook, an online version of a popular board game was subject of bitter legal dispute. I know what this is.
popular board game?
There was a popular board game that you could play on Facebook, like an online version of it on Facebook, and there was like a huge legal battle over it because the people that created the game didn't have rights to the board game.
I got nothing. I would say, like, because I know they had legal battle over, like, Farmville, because there's a copy off of that, and they had one for The Sims.
Yeah.
There's a exact copy, and I imagine it's probably Zynga was the company that we're talking about.
Probably. I don't remember.
But, like, I can't think of what board games people played in Facebook, because I didn't give a shit.
Yeah, it's Scrabble. That's my guess.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
My turn?
That was my 3. Yeah.
Within a year, so you get a 1-year leeway, what year did the Dreamcast come out?
2000?
And my guess would also be 2000. This, I had Caitlin write down on the back.
Uh-huh.
And it is 1999.
99, yeah.
September
So we're within a year.
1999.
We were within a year.
No.
Okay, true or false? More than half of parents play video games with their children at least once a month.
True.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they wouldn't have said that if they didn't do a study about it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
I mean, like, I look at my parents and that's a false,
Uh-huh.
but I think newer parents for sure.
Yeah. What was Nintendo's first try at an arcade game?
Donkey Kong?
Donkey Kong. Yeah, that's my guess.
Yeah. It's going to turn out to be like Johnny's Light Gun
Yeah.
Blaster.
Like Ever Race spelled EVR Race? Is that accurate? Never heard of it.
I never heard of it.
I guess
Well,
that
it
was a
said
good
try.
question. Yeah, I know. That's why, but I thought it was a trick question. Because
Yeah.
the way these are worded, you never know. Like, anyways. Okay, which of the following games is not Wi-Fi compatible? Mario Kart DS, Diddy Kong Racing DS, Tony Hawk's American Skateland, spelled with, an 8,
Yep.
or Super Mario 64 DS. So obviously 3 of those games at least had the word DS at the end of them, and the DS did have Wi-Fi, so my guess is going to be Tony Hawk.
Yeah, just to be different, I agree with you. I think it's Tony Hawk, but I would say maybe it's Super Mario.
Okay.
Because maybe that doesn't have multiplayer.
Yeah, it's Super Mario. It just said Wi-Fi, though. It didn't say, it said Wi-Fi compatible. It didn't even have to have features.
Don't yell at the screen.
No.
Based on the number of copies sold, what was the highest selling game of all time?
So not based on the total profit. Not
Profit. It's
just
basically households.
how many did they get out there?
Yeah.
And the way I phrased that it was because I think I know what it is.
Okay.
Do you know what it is?
My guess would be Tetris.
No, my guess is Wii Sports because it came free with every Wii. And
Yeah.
they sold really well. So they count it. I know they count all those as copies sold.
Well, the correct answer is Wii Sports.
Nice. Does that mean you just looked at all the answers then?
No, because 2 of these aren't on the back.
Okay.
And I only have 2 more left.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, what is the most popular paid app on the Apple Store? So not free app, but paid app, it says. And because this is video game trivia, I'm assuming it's a game.
Minecraft? Do you pay for Minecraft, or is that a free game?
Is that on the... Can you get it?
You can get it on any device. You
Okay.
can get it on a goddamn printer.
That would not be my guess. Your guess is Minecraft?
Sure.
My guess is going to be Angry Birds.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think you're so smart with your
Yeah.
Angry Birds.
Angry Birds.
This is one I will admit that I looked at because I was checking the answer.
Okay.
And this is one specifically geared towards nerds like us.
Okay.
Which 360 game has the highest TA score, not including DLC?
Ooh. That was a good question. The highest 360 game.
I can give you a hint if you'd like one.
It's gonna be a Connect game, that's my guess, because
That
those
was
are
your
always the
hint.
highest.
That was your hint anyway.
Unless if it's some weird crazy thing, I'm gonna guess Michael Jackson Experience.
It is Motion Sports.
Motion Sports. Yeah.
So it is a weird, wacky game.
Yeah. And it's because the controls were broken for that game. I'm assuming that it's so hard.
That's what the word on the street is.
Yeah.
Obviously, like including DLC, it's the pinball game because it's got 6 million
Yeah.
tables.
No, I knew it was because we've talked about that before.
Yep. And obviously, if you're including Xbox One, it's Halo because There's
Right now it
6
is.
million achievements.
Yeah. All right. What is the name of Chris Redfield's sister in Resident Evil?
I'm going to say Veronica because that's the only other Resident Evil name that comes to mind. But I don't think that's it.
No, well, I mean, there's Jill. Do you know that name?
Oh, yeah, there's Jill. Jill Redfield? That sounds better.
No, I'm going to go with Claire.
Okay.
Because I think there's a joke in the first Dead Rising game about Claire sandwiches. It's one of the sandwich shops in the second floor of Dead Rising, and I think that was a reference because Capcom made that. I think that was a reference to her.
Okay.
Yeah, Claire. Another Street Fighter. Street Fighter was released in what year?
Let's see if the Dreamcast was 99. Before that.
Yeah, before that. This year is 2015, so before that.
I'm going to say 90... The first Street Fighter?
It just says what year was Street Fighter, so I'm going to guess, yeah.
Here's my thing, right? Let me preface this answer.
Okay.
The first Street Fighter is really Street Fighter 2. Because there's a Street Fighter that was for the normal Nintendo that was a side-scroller.
Right? I think they're talking about arcade game now.
I'm going to stick with my original answer.
Of
1991.
91? Okay, what year did the movie come out? 93?
Maybe.
So before that.
Okay. Yep. Your process of elimination.
What year did Mortal Kombat come out? 90? I think it came out in 90.
Okay.
So it was before that,
Okay.
is my guess. So I'm going to guess 88 doesn't feel right to me for some reason. I feel like it's an odd number, either 87 or 89.
I feel like it could be 87. I don't see it being the year I was born. It's the first Street Fighter.
So your guess is 89?
No, mine
Okay.
was 91. But
Yours 91. Okay, I'm gonna go with 87.
Okay.
Yeah, 87.
I feel like you just looked at these answers ahead of time and now you're just pretending like you don't know.
No, my sister literally sent me the questions while we were sitting in the
Yeah.
while we
Okay.
were playing Destiny.
You had your phone.
It was a Google Doc though, and you can't see the answers until you. Okay,
Chris, I
fine.
don't want to hear it.
Is it my turn still? Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, what was the first video game ever commercially produced? And there's a list of 4.
Okay.
Computer Science, Pong, Galaxy Game, Tetris.
Pong.
Pong is my guess.
Yeah.
Computer Space.
Sure.
Which I'd never heard of, but sounded like a video game sort of thing.
Computer space.
It says Pong was the first video game to obtain popularity, but the first commercially marketed game was Computer Space in 1971, 1 year before Pong came out.
All right.
See, I don't know all the answers.
Yeah, you got that one wrong on purpose because I called you out. I know your Jedi mind tricks.
Okay, this is another stupid one. True or false, more than a quarter of Americans over 50 play video games. So 25% of people over 50 play video games.
It depends when this was taken, but
Yeah.
I'm going to say false.
I'm going to say true for 2 reasons. One, my answer before, which is if they had the question, that means they did a study on it at some point. So it's probably going to be true. Also, I think it's because the people that were under 30 under 20, under 30 when video games came out are now that old. So 25% of them, because they consider mobile games as games.
If they consider mobile games, then it's true.
Yeah.
If they just consider like console games, I think it's false. But obviously that answer is not going to tell you that.
Yeah. So, true. A 2011 survey by Entertainment Software Associations found that 29% of Americans over 50 played video games. Yeah. In 2009, it was 25%. So it went up 4% in 2 years. I'm assuming it's because those people got older.
Yeah.
Okay, which popular game inspired a pop song that charted to the Billboard's top 10 in...
Pac-Man Fever.
Exactly, Pac-Man Fever. Pac-Man Fever. Yeah, Pac-Man. Who sang it, though? That's a good question, because I do not know.
Jamiroquai.
Buckner and Garcia.
Oh, that was my second guess. Right behind Jamiroquai was Buckner and Garcia.
Okay. You got 2 more? You
I
got
have
one
more.
One more, okay.
Is this it?
I got 3 after this.
Okay. This This is according to Metacritic, so this doesn't help. What is the worst reviewed game of all time?
Oh, according to Metacritic, because we go back to E.T. is what I would assume.
Yeah.
Is because that was critically the worst game,
will
but
have to look this up.
that was before Metacritic. So I don't know if they retroactively went back and did things.
I can't imagine they would, because I think there'd be a lot of people like who would just give positive reviews to kind of be douchebags.
Well, according to that one guy, Metacritic, Mass Effect 1 got a 0.
I don't think that's it. My guess is the Road to Hell or Retribution or whatever that game is where you're a biker.
Yeah. When did that come out, though?
It came out relatively recently, within the past, 3 years.
Yeah, A Ride to Hell Retribution.
Yep.
Is a PC game.
It also came out for 360.
Okay. There's also Big Rigs, over the road racing, it says. All these are just 1-star reviews. List of notable negative receptions.
I don't know if this is one that actually has a definitive answer.
But we'll give you that one, I guess.
Yes. Ride to Hell Retribution.
Uh-huh.
The most broken game I've ever seen played. There's a couple video reviews I remember where it's literally just like guys walking through walls, not realizing you're there.
Yeah.
You just fall through the ground when you're riding your bike.
So like Assassin's Creed is what you're saying.
When you have the whole point is you're rescuing women from being forced into prostitution, and the way that they reward you rescuing them is to have sex. But you don't. It's a jeans on jeans act. So it's the cutscenes are everyone's still
dry
fully
humping?
clothed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I want to see nudity, but at the same time,
don't pretend that's nudity.
don't pretend that's nudity when it's I can clearly see her jean shorts.
Yeah. All right. 3 arcade games are in the Smithsonian. Which 3? So it gives us 2. I don't know if you want to try to guess the first 2 that are listed.
In the Smithsonian?
Yeah, the Smithsonian has 3 games.
See, the thing is, I just want to go towards popular games. I say Pac-Man, but I don't think that would be in there.
Yeah, because they're all about historical things, right? So it's
Yeah.
usually the first.
So it'd be maybe Pong.
So Pong and Pac-Man are the 2 that it gives us.
Yeah.
So we're trying to guess what the third game is.
Pong, Pac-Man.
I would guess Donkey Kong, right?
Yeah, you'd think it would be Mario, Super Mario Brothers. Yeah.
But I think Donkey Kong was bigger
Donkey
than
Kong
that.
was first before
Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers.
Or even like a Space Commander, like Asteroids, or
But I don't know if it's how many old. Whatever. I'm gonna say Super Mario.
you're gonna say Super Mario Brothers. I'm gonna say Donkey Kong. Dragon's Lair.
Okay.
Is that? I didn't know there was an arcade version of that.
There
only knew
isn't. I think it's a normal Nintendo game.
Yeah.
At least that's the first one I know about. There might have been an arcade version in Japan, but that's a really long completion to sit with a quarter. Oh, no.
There was a super old school one. I was thinking of the cartoon one. It's not that one. It's one that came out in '83. It's different.
Oh, I was going to say it might be the cartoon one. Is what I was thinking, because that's
that makes sense that it would be.
Yeah.
But they never made a cabinet arcade version of that I know of.
Okay.
So Nolan Bushnell, who founded Atari in 1972, founded what national restaurant chain? I know the answer to this, so I'm not going to answer.
He made a restaurant chain? Why would he do that?
It's pretty obvious if you think about it. The guy that created Atari also created a restaurant franchise.
You keep thinking,
Come on, Phil, you're stupid if you don't know this.
I don't
No,
know
I'm
it.
kidding. Are you sure you want to give up?
can
Just
give
guess. What restaurant chain has video games?
Restaurant chain has video games?
I mean, the word restaurant is, I'm putting it in air quotes. It was not in air quotes, but I'm putting it in air quotes.
Yeah, I'm stumped here.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah.
Because that's at a restaurant.
What he did, from what my understanding, I this isn't on there, but I think he sold Atari. I think he sold the rights to Atari, and then to sort of make up for that, he then tried to create a company that still had to do with video games, but that he could do on his own, and that's what it was. Chuck E. Cheese.
I'm gonna tell you, no matter how many times you put restaurant in quotes, I would have never
guessed Chuck E. Cheese.
Because I'm just Chuck E. Cheese isn't a goddamn restaurant. You
No,
get
I know.
Pizza.
I know.
I can get pizza at 7-Eleven, but I wouldn't call 7-Eleven a
but
restaurant.
it's considered a restaurant chain,
Yeah.
as far as
Because
classifications go.
Because there's a table.
Yeah.
There's a table and there's food.
All right. The most popular sports video game of all time is named after which professional coach? This is a stupid question.
Hold on. Is it Dale Earnhardt Jr.?
I was gonna say Dicka Sports.
Dicka Sports?
Yeah.
John Madden.
Phil Jackson Phil Jackson ball.
Oh, it could be Phil Jackson ball.
Yeah, I would play Phil Jackson ball.
You have to run the triangle offense.
Yeah.
Madden. John Madden.
Yeah. Yep.
I like how you had to verify. Like,
well,
it could have been Nolan Bushwell's Chuck E. Cheese coach-a-thon.
Yeah.
Thus ends trivia.
That was trivia, guys. We did trivia. I will promise, even though I can't do this, that the questions will be better in the future.
I will not promise that.
What would make it the best would be if you guys came up with the questions and sent it to us.
Yeah.
Because we need some like-minded people thinking of good questions. Like I really like that TA question. And that was not a question you couldn't just Google video game trivia and then find that. That was a question that somebody created. So that was good.
Yeah. Here's my thing, though. I was trying to think of questions.
Uh-huh.
When you sent me, like, we're going to do games. And I had a really hard time thinking of questions that aren't just, like, year-based. Like, I would be like, when did Pong come out?
Yeah.
When did Nintendo come out?
Or things
Name
that are
2
so
games.
specific that you wouldn't actually know it.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
what was...
Like, I tried to do, like, the, name of launch titles. But it's like, at some point...
Those are stupid, I think.
Yeah. It's like, how many... I don't know how many video game questions there's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know. This is hard. Like, there's no...
Because there's, like, mascot questions, but I also think those are throwaways.
Yeah.
Like, which video game mascot? Sonic.
Yeah.
We will.
But I want this to work out, so I haven't given up on it yet.
I'm not giving up. I'm just
Okay.
saying, like, it's gonna. They're gonna get tougher and tougher to come up with,
Especially if we're not the ones coming up with that.
as the game progresses.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So third game. This is a new game. I told you about it, but we haven't talked about it on air. It's 3-word pitch is what we're calling it right now. Feel free to name any of these games too, guys. If you think of good names for these things, Phil's saying
Pitch is
no.
the best.
Phil's saying no. Okay. So I have a random word generator that I found online, and it's going to spit out 3 random words, and we're going to try to create a video game based on those words. So, like, I'll give Phil 3 words, he'll think of a video game, and vice versa. Or we can do it as a group. It doesn't really matter.
No.
It doesn't have to be a back and forth. What do you think?
We'll
see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. First 3 words are
Multiple.
multiple. Okay, I got a word caution.
Multiple, caution, singular.
Singular.
Multiple.
And singular. That's you're using the same one, right?
Huh?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any ideas?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna pair. You said caution.
Caution. Yeah.
It is a truck driving game.
Okay.
Here's what I got.
All right.
You are a single, and this probably helps because we talked about big rigs.
Right.
You are a single truck driver
Like not married.
Not married.
Yeah.
Trying to deliver his goods to a location.
And by goods, he means delivering multiple orgasms to the females that he comes across.
Yeah. And you have to drive through multiple construction zones,
Right.
where there's caution signs.
That doesn't sound like a great game. I'm
No.
going to say that right now. I probably would not buy that game.
No, I had an idea.
Is it like a truck simulator game, or is it like a RPG kind of game?
No, it's a truck simulator.
Okay.
It's basically like your Farm Simulator 2015. It's Truck Driver Simulator. It's not
Okay.
supposed to be exciting. It's supposed to be realistic.
Right. A lot of butt
But
sores.
you also have a pistol in the glove box.
Oh, okay. I'm listening. Is it a Derringer?
To do 3 rounds.
Ooh, 3 rounds.
And you have to...
Like, you get those 3 rounds the entire length of when you play the game. You never can get more ammo unless if you do, if you kill somebody and steal their ammo or something.
Yeah.
But it's not readily available
No.
in the world.
Yeah.
So you
like,
gotta choose when you use those shots.
I would immediately, when you got your time card,
Mm-hmm.
shoot the guy who gives you your time card.
Why? Because then you can just
Then
do
you
whatever?
can adjust the time card.
Okay.
Then you don't even have to play the game because you're just making money.
That's
You don't
true.
even have to drive the truck.
But where's the pistol if it's in your glove box and you haven't actually gotten your truck yet?
Yeah, no, you have to do it on your back trip. Because obviously
Okay.
you go to Jewel, you drop
Okay.
off your lettuce heads that you're delivering, and then you drive back to bring the truck in for its, weak resting point.
Uh-huh.
You get the gun out. The guy's like, "Nice haul, Dan," and then you shoot him in the stomach.
Now, my question is, can you customize your name, or is it always going to be Dan?
You unlock different drivers.
Okay, I
So
see.
the
And they have their own
first-
personality and their own routes and stuff to do?
Yeah,
Okay, I
personalized
gotcha.
trucks.
Now, instead of heads of lettuce, what if it was human heads? Let's say you're kind of the waste disposal guy for a bunch of like gangs and mafias and stuff.
Okay.
So you're driving across the country picking up dead bodies,
Okay.
and you got to dispose of them at some point. So there's also the element of you can get caught with all these dead bodies if you don't dump them soon enough. Like there might be bad smell.
Sure.
Somebody might see something they're not supposed to.
Okay.
Then you got to use one of those bullets.
No, you still only get the 3
yeah,
bullets.
You could use them to add to your body count in the back of the truck.
Yeah, maybe get paid on a per
But there's,
body basis.
There's like dump zones. There's like you might be able to find a swamp, or there's like even like the Grand Canyon.
You can't use the same dump zone twice.
No, because one you don't want to backtrack, and two people are going to know then if they see you dumping bodies, because at some point the cops are going to show up and find these bodies.
Yeah, I think that's the best game we can make with those 3 words.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we could probably talk about this forever, but,
Yeah,
let's move on to the next 3 words. Cattle.
Truck driving.
I know,
simulator.
right? Putt, like golf putt,
Golf putt, got it.
and wait for it, campaign.
Oh well, first of all, campaign is just your single player campaign. It's a mini golf
okay.
game,
Yeah.
but it's mini golf on the farm. And
Yeah.
one of the, as opposed to like a windmill or stuff that you have to hit the ball through, there's just cattle roaming the course.
Okay.
And then it's just Lee Corvo's putting challenge
Yeah.
with cattle.
Okay. My spin on it is you are on the campaign trail. You're running for election, right? And one of these small towns you visit, like your event that you have to do is you have to play a round of putt-putt with...
A talking cow.
No, with you're in some sort of podunk town where there's
Sure.
a bunch of cattle around. It is a farm themed course.
Yeah,
So like the
basically
mini
one
golf.
that I came up with.
No, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's just my spin on it is like, and so you have to play. You are the politician,
Yeah.
and you have to play against these people. So there's also, it's not just the golf game. You have to worry about like dialogue trees and like choices. You're still trying to run for office here.
Yeah.
So, and it's like,
You gotta
do you,
avoid stepping in dung.
right? And do you let the mayor win, or like, are you playing against a disabled child that like make a wish at the same time? Like,
You get 3 bullets.
yeah. Also get 3 bullets. So there's this whole like it's an RPG simulator sort of thing. It's all about your choices. Like this is a Telltale game,
Yeah.
but there's also mini golf involved.
Okay. I like it. I'd
Okay.
play it.
Okay.
All right. Next 3. Architecture.
Uh-huh.
Wrong. And relay.
Like
Like in a relay race. It's
Yeah.
RELAY.
okay.
Well, the first thing that I think of,
What was the second word?
wrong,
Wrong. Okay.
is that obviously it's a free running game.
Uh-huh.
It's like you're
Mirror's
running,
Edge.
It's like Mirror's Edge, but it's definitely more Olympic in terms of it's a relay race. You have people you have to pass batons to. You're running across architecture, but the architecture has something wrong with it.
Oh, there's that
and
word.
it's upside down. That's all I got.
Okay. Okay, I was thinking that you're an architect that has to build relay stations
Okay.
to connect one city to the next. So it's kind of like
But you're from the wrong side of the tracks.
No, it's kind of like a puzzle game.
Okay.
Where like you got to connect the circuits and stuff. It's all about getting the right circuits, not the wrong circuits. So you don't want to connect the wrong stuff. Like if you, and it's not like it's like right or wrong. Like if you do it wrong and like let's say you set up your grid, you think everything's good, you hit enter. If it's not set up correctly, like if it's set up wrong, it'll like blow up or it'll destroy one of those towns.
Oh wow.
So it's like you don't know if you've done it correctly until you turn the power switch on.
Okay. I mean,
I don't know. Those were not great words.
those are not great words.
All right, you give me a word, I'll get a word.
Comfort
Baby, that's weird.
and compensation.
Ooh, compensation. My word was reckoning, which I like better, but go for compensation.
Comfort baby compensation.
So obviously you're a babysitter that has
this
to.
one writes itself.
I know. So you have to. You have to comfort this baby, right? Your whole goal is to comfort this baby. So it's kind of like a high school, health class simulator where you have to take care of a baby for a week.
Yeah.
But instead, there's all these hazardous obstacles in the person's house.
Sure.
So your goal is to purposely hurt yourself, so they have to compensate you monetarily.
Ooh.
They have to give you a lot of money because you got hurt on the job.
Okay. I like that spin.
But you have to keep the baby safe while, sort of navigating these obstacles. So the goal is to hurt yourself while still comforting the baby.
But at the same time, the more you hurt yourself, the harder it is to comfort the baby. Because if you break
Of course.
your arm on the table,
Right.
you can't hold that baby with that arm.
Exactly.
So
it's a risk-reward sort of situation.
Okay. Mine was much more dull.
Okay.
In the terms of that, obviously it's a babysitter sim. Everyone knows that that's what it's going to be.
I mean, it's on the box. You know that's what it is.
And it's more of a Sims kind of game where they have a bunch of meters.
Uh-huh.
And obviously the baby is an uncontrollable player. And you have to do everything you can to get the baby's meter as high as possible before its parents come home. It's a time limit.
Yeah.
And then, depending on how high it is how much you get compensated. It's a puzzle game in the fact that there's multiple levels, and you get less time, and there's more, I guess, stuff that could... the toilet's backing up.
Yeah.
So you're just like, I gotta unclog the toilet, but also this baby's crying because it, is hungry.
Uh-huh.
And you kind of have to balance, like, their house is flooded with, fecal matter.
Right.
But this baby...
It's hard to comfort that baby that way.
Yeah, is super cozy in its bed.
I would be interested if they implemented some sort of surgeon simulator type of controls where it was very hard to every button controls a different finger, so it was very hard to do simple tasks.
Yeah.
So the idea was to keep this baby comforted and alive, but you would have to use
Saw
very
it
hard
open.
controls. Yeah, just changing it becomes this huge epic struggle.
Sure.
So I'm going to use the last word that I came up with last time, which is reckoning.
Okay.
That's the first word.
Reckoning plus voter.
Plus highlighting.
Well, I think we all know.
This comes off with the other game, I think, right? This is paired in with the the putt-putt campaign trail. This is all part of the same game.
This is all one big game. The baby simulator, the putt-putt,
Yeah.
the relay race on wrong architecture. The reckoning is getting me.
Yeah.
Because obviously, voter, works in there pretty well.
Yeah, and then highlighting.
Highlighting is
So it's
a textbook simulator.
Right. How about, here's the thing.
You have to highlight the
How
right
about
words.
the devil won in the electoral votes, right? The devil
Sure.
won all the votes. So it's the reckoning's going to happen if you don't somehow go back into this paperwork and find out if there was any sort of voter error or voter fraud. So your job is, you're like a city clerk kind of guy. You have to go...
Papers, please.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
a document simulator.
It's a document simulator, and your job is to highlight the pertinent information that you might flag as something's not right here, which then the lawyers can look into later. That's part of a different game.
Yeah,
you don't get
play
to
that.
see.
You just
no.
do the highlighting.
All you get is a weekly summary at the end of the week, and
How many
they
things you
come
missed.
back to you. Right.
How many things you hit.
Right.
So there's a percentage.
It's all a percentage. Did you highlight the right stuff and
Yeah.
not highlight the wrong stuff, too?
That is probably the best game we've came up with.
Yeah.
It's papers, please, but even more boring.
Yeah.
Because you don't even get to see things pan out. These words suck, by
Okay.
the way.
Oh, yeah. We're getting some bad ones right now.
Classification
Classification. Okay. Outline. Once again, the
and platform.
platform. So obviously you're some sort of, herpetologist.
Yeah, I was going to say a zoologist.
Yeah, and you need to classify these different types of that would be what is it? Is it just plants or is it
Well, yeah, you'd be doing plants. Mine would be animals.
okay. And outline.
Here's mine, right?
Okay.
It's a platformer. That's where your platform comes in. It's
Okay.
a lot of jumping. You have to pick up the animals.
Great.
It's kind of like Bible Tales for the normal Nintendo when
Uh-huh.
it cloned Super Mario 2 and you're just picking up animals and running for the arc.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is, it's one of those games. you don't control the jumping. You get an overview map, and you have to control them by providing an outline.
they're constantly moving and jumping, and you create a path with them with an outline.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you basically say, like, okay, you're going to pick up this cow, and you're going to bring it to the right classification, which
Right.
is, of course, mammal. It's very,
Yeah.
very specific. And then you have to outline, like, oh, the platform's moved, the cow moved.
Yeah, mine was stupider, and it was like you were able to classify these animals by outlining them. Like if you find something, you just have like a world, you have a map, and then if you draw over something, like obviously you have to use one of those tablets, or you could probably use a controller, it'd just be harder.
Yeah.
You could be a PC game probably, and you have to outline one of the things, and then you then see what it is and what it means.
Sure.
And
Let's do one more.
okay, do you want to switch it up? It has the option of doing word plus or even phrase. Try phrase. Let's see what happens when phrase happens.
No, I got a phrase here. I think we can come with a game with these 2 words.
Okay.
Memorial enslaving. It's basically just playing the word game, but with 2 words.
Yeah.
And obviously, this is about slave traders on Memorial Day are taking our women and children. Mm-hmm. And you are going to fight back and regain them. It's a Call of Duty game.
Okay.
So it's Memorial Day, obviously very American. You're dressed to the hilt. You got your American flag draped over your back like it's a cape. You're carrying, obviously, your rifle, a couple beer cans.
Yep.
And your job is to go against these slave traders while they capture your women and children. If you take too long, each mission there's a time limit. It's open world. So it's kind of like in the aspect of Dead Rising, where you know there's people need to be rescued.
Uh-huh.
If you wait too long, they're going to die. So they pop up like...
Yep.
Becky from down the street's about to be captured, and then you have to choose who you're saving from these slave traders.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
I got a less boring version of that. So aliens come down, right? They enslave you, and you are forced to create memorials to them and their gods and all this other stuff. So you're basically, like a Egyptian slave that has to build the pyramids, but instead you're building these big things for these aliens. And so you're like the head of the resistance, basically, and you have to go through and save the other slaves.
Okay.
But it's kind of like an Oddworld, like Abe's Odyssey sort of game, where it's like a left to right scroller platformer sort of thing, where it's like puzzle based, but you can also like you're trying to get to freedom, but you're trying to free as many people along the way.
It was a game as well. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. That's stupid.
That was bad. But whatever.
All right. So, I mean, what do you think? Do you think we did enough of those, or?
I think we did.
All right. So that was our first game corner.
Yep.
Name pending.
Copyright.
So overall, how do you feel about it?
I have mixed feelings.
Yeah.
I think our games are good.
Yeah, I think the games themselves, the rules, the ideas are good.
Yeah. Spot on, I would say.
Yeah.
But I will say that a lot of it revolves on some circumstances that we might not be able to work out.
Right.
The trivia has to be...
Somebody else has to do it for us.
Somebody else has to do it.
Yeah.
And then it's like... Because we obviously can't look it up.
Yeah.
For the boxes, there's just going to be... Those are going to be difficult.
I think it's fun. Even if we don't get
think
it,
the
I'm
box,
still having fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boxes I enjoyed.
Yeah.
It'll just be tough. And then the three pitch softball
Right.
is probably the greatest, but we have to award points on those to make it a game.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, we can make this whole thing a game.
The game's a game?
Like, we can combine the 3 games into a mega game,
Sure.
where we award points and it's like a side-and-side sort of thing. We can also then throw in drinking. We can make the entire thing a drinking game.
Sure, and then people will not want to listen to that whole episode.
But yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. Like, I think the games are there, but so far the content wasn't what I was hoping it was going to be.
No.
I think the box art game came the closest to what it should have been.
Yeah.
Trivia needs a lot of work. And the random word thing is all just based on what words you get. So next week it could be better, or next time we play, it could be a lot better. And
or
also
worse.
it's on us because we got to be creative about it. So, but I think that was fun.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm great at improv, so it's probably you
Right.
dragging us down.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
they used to call me in high school Horatio Sands Jr., because obviously he's...
Right.
He's the improv king.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
Yeah. So
And because you would always laugh while explaining everything.
exactly.
Um,
Or you know what? People, I know you won't anyway.
yeah.
Let us know how you feel about the games.
Right.
Maybe you're just like, trivia was stupid. Cut it out. Let's make it 2 games. We can do that.
Yeah. Another game we could do, another just basic game that we could co-opt and make it a video game thing is like you would like either spell a word or the last letter, first letter sort of thing. So it'd be like, let's spell Halo. So name a video game that starts with H. Halo. That's what I was thinking of too. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
That might have been a bad example, but you know what I
Okay.
mean. And you spell out the words. You try to think of okay, what starts with H, and then say a video game that starts with H. Okay,
Yeah.
what starts with A. The harder version to do it, which I don't think you can do it with other things like movies, but you can't do it with video games, is like whatever the last letter is of that thing is now the first letter of the next one.
I mean, you could. You could do Halo,
There's
and
just
then
not
the
that
O
many-
goes to Orion's Belt, the game.
Right, which is not a game, which is where we already come into problems.
Well-
Oni, which is a game that Bungie also made. They
Yep.
made for PlayStation at the same time as Halo.
So then you have an I.
So you have I.
And I'd go with the adventure game I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, which does exist.
Yeah, I would have gone with Infamous, but okay.
And then so mine ends in an M, so then you could go M to obviously Mega Man.
Mega Man, yeah.
And then your N,
N
goes
is
into Neapolitan Ice Cream.
which is a
The
great game.
game.
Everyone's favorite party sim.
Okay. I think that's
All right.
what we got.
Yeah, so we know you won't, guys, but if you want to give us feedback, that would be great. And even better if you want to provide us with content for us to play these games.
It
That
doesn't
would-
have to be a lot of content. It
No.
could be one